Greetings, traveler, and welcome to my humble channel, Bunsquire. I'm your wizard host, Bo, happy to have you here with me on this lovely, nondescript day. Finally, I am ready to share my OCs with y'all. With Artfight season upon us, I locked in and made actual ref sheets and wrote up small stories for my original characters. Characters that I've had since about 2020, I think, yet I've just never really focused on them. Of course, their stories aren't complete, but if I waited until I had a complete story, I would just never get anything done regarding them. So I come to you today to give an introduction on 4 characters that live in the fictional town of Clearbury. While I yap about these characters, I'll have time lapses of me making the art and putting together their ref sheets, all of which was done on my iPad using Procreate. Also, I kinda drew all of the characters on the same canvas, so even though I'll be talking about one person at a time, you will get to see all of them on the screen. I know, not the typical way I see these videos go, where they go one by each character and show the designs one by one with their storytelling, but I'm just getting quirky with it. So, some quick info about the world the characters live in. The story is based in Clearbury, which is vaguely set in a foresty Appalachia-like setting. Earth in this is also set in an alternate universe where everything is stuck in a 1970s aesthetic and also supernatural beings exist, just in secret. Imagine a retrofuturism look based on the 70s for the designs of like towns, buildings, just everything. I just really enjoy 70s aesthetics, so this is my excuse for that. But let's get into the characters, starting off with Riley, the first on the left of the canvas. Riley is a blonde, 5'3" lady with a passion for baking and has iconic hair flips. Design inspo was originally based on 50s housewife aesthetics and playing with the idea of a more femme-presenting person that was also kind of a badass. Some silly details for her include wearing only pearl jewelry, having 2 beauty marks, one on the top right of her lip and the other on the bottom left, and missing her right canine tooth. Story-wise, she recently moved to the small town of Clearbury with her little sister Autumn after Riley was exposed as a witch. She's been so careful hiding her powers, but one cancelled church event, having her parents come home early, ruined it all, and she wouldn't let them take any anger out on her sister that they would act upon if she had no one there to protect her with her leaving. Now, all the way across the country, she can relax and finally provide the stable home Autumn needs. Working at the local diner lets her get to know the town and have some extra money to pour into her baking hobby. As a bonus, she can practice magic safely in this town that she feels a strong but strange connection with. Since she is new, she rents a room for her and her sister at the Motel 55. Once again, just like knowing she had to move to this town despite never even hearing of it, she felt safe at this motel and also had a deep and strange connection to it. It's a quiet little motel nestled at the edge of town, bordering the large nature preserve said town is known for. Thankfully, the motel has rooms specifically for long-term stays, which have their own kitchens and separate rooms for bedrooms. Next up in line, we have Valyriia. Valyriia is a dark-haired, 5'11" lady with an interest in the medical field and has long braided hair. Design inspo was mostly based on the whimsy goth aesthetic, and working more literally with the celestial connections of said aesthetic by making her supernatural, and also my love for hybrid vampire-werewolf designs. Some details for her include having one long streak of white on the right side of her hair, because every trauma-based character has to have white in their hair. I think that's a rule somewhere. Said haircut, bangs-wise, is based on a hime cut, and she wears a lot of high-collared tops. Her story started a year before moving to Clearbury in its neighboring city. Being turned into a vampire in a chance encounter was already too much for her. But luckily, it also just so happened to be the big magical push for her werewolf traits to finally unlock and come out. Traits that she clearly got from her family, but it's not like she was even aware her family was wolves in the first place. But werewolfism and such can only come from two places, either heritage or being bitten, and she knows for a fact she was bitten by a vampire. So, feeling betrayed by her family's apparent many secrets, she had to leave the city before she did something she would regret. It's not like they would even miss her, realizing all the distance they've kept throughout the years has been to hide their werewolf heritage from her. She switched her major to mortuary sciences and got a job as an assistant in the nearby town of Clearberry in their singular funeral home. Distance was good for her. She now had the space to properly work through her emotions, and it helped that Clearberry had the perfect forest for her emotions and her wolf to run free. And perhaps her luck wasn't all that bad, seeing as she was able to rent a small cabin right at the edge of the forest, with her only neighbors being a weird little motel down the road. Moving along, we go to Russell. Russell is a shaggy-haired 5'7" gentleman who also happens to be a big nerd. Design inspo was literally just big 70s style glasses. Pretty simple. I just wanted to make a wimpy but lovable nerd. But for some details in his design include having an iconic 70s mustache, wearing very dad-inspired outfits, and also being a big scaredy cat. Ever since he was little, Russell has loved learning. He absorbed any books he can get his hands on until he discovered his passion for history. As an adult, this passion only grew stronger. He even went to college to become a history teacher to teach others and share in his love of history. Luckily, he got an easygoing job as a middle school teacher in a town not too far from his home, Clearberry. It's only been a year, but he loves working with the kids and having summers off to do his own research and history learning. Though he has been feeling like he's being watched late at night. At least it doesn't feel like a scary presence. But anyways, ever since he came to town, he's been staying at the Motel 55. Despite it being a motel, it's such a nice place. No noisy neighbors to deal with, and the owner and his family are very nice people once you get to know them. Saving money on not having to rent a traditional apartment is also a nice bonus, one he loves so that he can keep buying books to fuel his learning passions. And the final character in this lineup is Seth. Seth is a reserved 6'3" gentleman who is here in Clearberry for business, as a typical businessman does. Wink wink. Design inspo was mostly based on my need to involve the existence of demons into this supernatural world for funsies. Some details in his design include a scar over his left eye, making seeing out of said eye harder, kind of like a blind spot / a very blurry in just that eye, and a love for Phoenix. Plus, he is a pretty good swordsman. For his story, you would think being born to some of the highest-ranking demons would make Seth's life interesting. Yet, when you have over 50 siblings, you kind of just blend in. His parents loved each other a little too much. But this is why it was all the more surprising that his parents called on him for a mission to go onto Earth. All across Earth exist supernatural hotspots that are monitored by the different demon families for any spikes in magical activity. Turns out, they've been getting recent reports of unknown energy building up in the small town of Clearberry, and Seth was just the lucky sibling to get chosen for an in-person check-in. Donning a human appearance, he gets portaled up to find out what's happening. Now, while he's taken mandatory lessons about Earth and humans, he's never been granted the chance to actually go up there, so his mannerisms seem odd or uncanny, coming off reserved or even mean to some of the strangers in this town. But thankfully, his parents' team already had a room booked at the Motel 55 for him to stay in and have a place farther out from most of the town to relax in his downtime and maybe practice being a human alone and not in front of everybody. How these characters all meet and get to know each other and get to the point where they're like all friends is still something I need to work on, especially since in the future of their story, Riley and Valyriia do become girlfriends, and then Russell and Seth do become boyfriends. The group together would definitely eventually have a found family vibe once established, but I have such a hard time figuring out how to get them all together. And, you know, especially with Valyriia being a werewolf, I also want to throw in some pack dynamics to said found family vibe too, because, you know, let's make it wholesome after some of these people get put through the ringer. But they do all have at least one connecting place, which is the Motel 55, and that kind of serves as a central location and a way to connect all the characters. Even if Valyriia doesn't stay there, she stays near there. So it's just something I've gone back and forth on, trying to figure that out. But, you know, we're introduced. They're all here, so they're bound to meet eventually. And, you know, it'll be fun. It'll be cute, and that's something to think on for next time, for a future video, maybe. Before ending this video, I do want to circle back to something I mentioned earlier, which was artfight. Now, this is not the video to watch if you want to learn about artfight, how it works, rules, joining it, all that stuff. There are plenty of YouTubers that have made dedicated videos on such topics, so I highly suggested you search that, and you will find plenty of information. But a small summary that I hope is accurate to it of artfight is that it is a free art trading / gifting event where you join teams and make art of other people's characters. Said art is given like an attack, so you join a team and you're attacking another person by making art for them. Free art, how fun, cool. You can sign up for free and make a free account. Do what you want and have fun. But this will be my second year participating in it. Last year, I joined Team Crystals by letting fate decide for me, and having me randomly placed on a team, and I did that for this year as well. And so I joined Team Mystery, which you should see here on screen, me filling out the team card provided from Artfight directly that you can choose to fill out. And on this card, you will see all 4 characters I talked about in this video, ready and available to quote-unquote attack. While I've been planning on making refs for these characters for ages, having more characters available for people to attack was that final push to get me to finish everything. That's not to say that you need this many characters. Last year, I only had 1 character available for attack, and it was still a fun time, and I still got art. So you do not have to put any effort if it is something you are interested and wanted to join. It's still a fun time. But this is just small end of video plug to mention my art fight, which is under the same username of Bunsquire, and I will do my best to attack and revenge as I can with the limited time of this being a July-only event. And now with all that yapping and drawing done, or as done as I will get it now, I believe I can declare this video complete. I would love to make more videos about this silly gang of friends, diving into their lives more, and doing more individual art. I would like to expand on the world, for example, and maybe like what their rooms look like. I have Pinterest boards dedicated to their specific aesthetics as if they were in their own room, so could be fun. If you want that sooner, me to feel encouraged to make that, maybe let me know if that's something you like or if you enjoyed hearing about my characters. But time for the typical YouTuber thing. If you're enchanted by my art and want to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram and Etsy under Bunsquare as well. Otherwise, caress the like button, kiss the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell if you want to hit a bell, and you can even leave a silly little comment. Is there a pencil emoji? If you got to the end, you can comment a pencil emoji, and I'll know you're a real one. But until next time, I shall see ya.